So one of the things that I remember, there are some beings on Earth at the moment that are here just to process energy. They don't even have karma. They don't have like things to come and fix. It's more that they're here to process the energy that is we're going through right now. It's like a healing for the earth. It's like we're helping the earth heal. We're helping the collective heal just by that person being there. They could do anything they want work wise, but just by their presence alone, there are people out there that are here to help just process the energy. They're very aware there's something different, but they're just like us in the sense that they forget this is an illusion at times. So there's another thing. They sometimes get overwhelmed, like recently with the Lionsgate opening. It's the energy is intense. The light coming in is really intense, and so it's flushing out a lot of the shadows. So a lot of people are processing a lot of their inner darkness, I guess. And when there's someone here to process that energy that is not theirs, it's not their energy. It's not, their shadows that they're filtering, but they're a part of it. They're a part of it because they decided to come here to help humanity by filtering some of their shadows through their vessels. So I'm not sure what that is called or what type of being that is, but I know that there are beings like that.
Could it be just a human reincarnation?
I don't know. I don't think it needs to have a name. It's just
what I mean is you call them beings, but could it be just a human being that came in and the soul came in for this specific reason? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
They became human, but I'm not sure what the qualifications of this particular soul or what development they are in order to be able to help in this way. So these beings all of a sudden are crying. They have no idea why they're crying. All of a sudden they could be typing away, and all of a sudden they start feeling anger, or they start feeling things that are not from them. And if you're sleeping, and by that, if you don't realize what is happening, it could be extremely frustrating. Like, what the hell is happening? And it depends on that person. They might feel like they need some type of drug to subside these outbursts. But the truth is, they don't need anything. They just need to and let it go. Don't attach themselves to the energy. Don't attach themselves to the feeling. Don't go looking for a story to try to justify why you're feeling it. And that is hard. That's really hard. So when these beings go through this, and I know that some of us went through it this week and last week, I forget sometimes that it's not only my shit that I'm cleaning up, because I feel like I'm here to do a dual thing. Not only am I here to clean up some of the hardware in my ancestry line, but I'm also here to process some of that energy as well. So I am exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally, because I have to tell myself, am I feeling this? Is this me? Or is this somebody else's emotion? Or is this a collective's? I'm going to start getting into the process of asking me those questions because I had forgotten. But this week I was reminded, hey, that energy is not yours. Stop making it about you. So So that was the lesson for this week. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about manifestation, if you're up for it.
Yep.
So I know you're not religious, but
Mhm.
there is a story in the Bible about Ruth. Do you know the story?
I'm sure if you start saying it, I will remember it. It doesn't ring a bell.
Ruth was a Moabite, and she lived in a little, town in Moab, and there was a couple of Jewish families that were migrating from Bethlehem to Moab because they were looking for food. They were going through a drought or some sort of like they needed to move to survive. And when they moved to Moab, I can't remember the mother-in-law's name. I can't remember her name, but she had two sons. And those two sons married Moabite women. And the sons died. And then what ended up happening is that the mother-in-law ended up by herself with her two daughter-in-laws. They didn't have children. They didn't have anything else. And back in those days, if you didn't have a protector of a male protector, then you were kind of compromised or you were vulnerable to people. So the mother-in-law decided to go back to Bethlehem to her people. And she advised the two daughter-in-laws that were Moabites to go back to their land and their people and find other husbands because they didn't have children. They could find other husbands.
Mhm.
But there was one of the Moabites that said, I'm going to stay with you, mother-in-law. I'm going to stick around with you. My God is your God. Your people are my people. Or your God is my God. Your people are my people. Your land is my land. And she decided to make the transition from being a Moabite to becoming a Jewish woman. But she looked different.
Mhm.
So they traveled to Bethlehem, and that act of generosity of trying to protect that woman, her mother-in-law, so she won't be by herself. God created all sorts of things in their paths. They found somebody basically a very wealthy man to take them in, and he married Ruth. They found a redeemer. Here they were by themselves with nothing. No protection, no money, no house. They had absolutely nothing. But Ruth decided, I'm going to have faith in your God.
Mhm.
And I'm going to follow you wherever you go. And I'm going to listen to what you say to me. And instead of going through the suffering and continuing to suffer, God redeemed everything. They had faith. In order to manifest in the now moment, you have to have that type of faith. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen, but God is so big that he could put the right people in your path. He could put the right circumstances in your path to create beautiful, wondrous things. But what ends up happening is we want to help and we want to fix it. So even though you have a desire or a vision of what you want, God's not rushing to help you. So let me just go ahead and buy this stuff so that I could have it here ready for when it happens. And then you're like, okay, I'm manifesting that the universe will provide the right people in my life that will help me with this job or thing that I'm trying to create. And then all of a sudden, he's not hurrying up, or she, universe, they're not hurrying up to give you at your timing, right? So then what you do is, I'm going to go search for people and start, just start looking for people that might be able to give me what I need and what I want. But you're not giving the universe its time. Everything that happened in that story with Ruth, it happened in perfect timing. You have to have faith that it will happen and that it has happened, right? But you have to give the universe the time to help you and not rush and fix it yourself, not rush and try to control it yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I was going to say more of a word control when you said, yes, we try to control. Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things that I loved, I grew up in the Christian household where we read the Bible. And one of the things I remember reading that just really made a profound experience, it impacted me, is the faith. If you have faith as big as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Because that's exactly how humans are. We're limitless. And yet we create barriers and limits to ourselves because of the things. No, that can't happen. No, you have to be linear. This can't happen unless this happens. Well, who the fuck says?
Yes.
If we practice thinking in a non-linear way, it's so much easier for us to see the bigger picture. You just never know. There might be someone, a person out in a different country that all of a sudden sees a video that you posted or read something about you online or whatever. The rabbit trail happens.
Yes.
All of a sudden, they bring something into their lives. You just never know. It doesn't have to be with hard work, with the expectations, letting go of the outcome of how
Also letting go of that. You said linear process, right? When we want something, a lot of times what we send out into the universe is, I want this in this way. Right. So the idea is to send out, I want this. Yeah. And not send out in what way. Right.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know what's out there right now with manifestation stuff, but too many details allows you to get attached to the outcome. If you ask the universe for something with too many details, then you have an expectation. That's when you get attached, when the moment you have an expectation of things to happen the way you're laying it out. Every time, and I don't know why, Sophia, I don't know why I'm like continuing to bring back some of this stuff, but when you're praying or when you're manifesting or when you're meditating, when you're setting an intention, it's your will be done. Let my will not, don't, basically what you're saying is, I know what I want, but let it come to me as you design it or as you create it. Because what happens is when we allow the universe to give us things in a very magical way, it was a coincidence way, it not only impacts you, the person that you're trying to manifest, it impacts a ton of people because it it's orchestrated through a ton of people for you to get what you want. So by you wanting to control it, by you wanting to drive the car and how you want it to receive it, you're trying to take the blessing away from all these people dancing together, coming together in synchronicity to give you that thing that God wants to give you. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you're limiting the universe too, yes.
yeah. So it's very important to remind ourselves that we may not know everything. That whatever is coming towards or whatever you're asking for, you need to allow yourself to receive it. And if you haven't received it, then asking yourself the question of, well, how am I stopping it from coming through? And let me tell you a story about that. I've been asking for abundance. When I was little, I was, I don't know, and something told me when I was little, I was like about 8 years old, that I was going to have all sorts of abundances. And I didn't even care about money at 8. I didn't even have that desire of want. I was the type of kid that I would leave $1 laying on the floor somewhere just to go play. Not like the other kids waiting for someone to leave their dollar on the floor so they could take it. So I'm like, so when is this inheritance coming? Because I could feel it as an inheritance. So when is this inheritance coming, right? And I'm thinking, well, my family is not going to provide me an inheritance because they could barely provide for themselves. And it's like, so when is this inheritance coming? And I could feel it and I could feel it. And I'm just like, it's right there. What is happening? But then I realized today, the moment I'm able to receive the inheritance, my life will change. And guess what I struggle with? Change.
Change. Mm-hmm.
Good or bad, I struggle with change. I struggle with letting go of the past. If I align myself to the energy that it's waiting for me to align myself with it so that whatever I've been manifesting since 8 years old will come to me. I have to be okay to let go of absolutely of the Maria I knew.
Mm-hmm.
That is deathing that part of me.
I would say not deathing, but rebirth, maybe. Because deathing sounds very much like it's kind of final or maybe negative in some way. If you think about it as
I think that's your belief of death.
maybe that's, even though I actually am so happy when people die.
Me too. I was just talking about that with someone. Well, anyways, we'll talk about that after this, I guess. I'm so happy when people die.
Well, you know, they did their job. They did their job
right.
and they went on, you know?
Right. No, deathing to me means something ends.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a phase. Something ends, something is complete. I no longer want to suffer and be in pain so that I could fit in with everybody else. That was my wound.
Mm-hmm.
if I pretend I'm suffering and I'm in pain and I believe it, then I'll be like everybody else. I'll be able to have something in common with people. I have to be okay with allowing that Maria, the past Maria, to go. And allowing myself to be in the present and to just allow myself to receive the highest and greatest good, regardless of what it looks like, of what changes come or what the change looks like and feels like. It is seriously, it feels like going on a roller coaster. And you're going up, 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 and you know you're going to come down.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know when exactly you're going to come down, because it all of a sudden, when you're going up the roller coaster, it slows down a little bit, like it's getting momentum. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, you go down and back up. And that, I am terrified of roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do it because it's scary, it's change, it's that feeling. Maybe that's what I need to do to get over it. It's that feeling of, I don't know what to expect. It's the unknown. What will happen? And the root of it, of course, it's control.
Yes.
I know normally we talk together and create an amazing channeling video, but because of all of these intense energies, I don't think I have the energy to channel at the moment. I haven't even tried, to being completely honest. But I thought maybe the things that we're talking about could not only help us, it could help others, because every time we do talk, we always come up with great realizations, I think.
I would have to agree. There's always something that we come up with. But also, I'm sure a lot of people felt, as you mentioned before, past couple of days, they didn't know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's a good question. I always ask myself, is this mine? Because sometimes we start to go through things. Well, I kind of argued with my mom yesterday. Maybe that's that. Or, work is not doing so well. Maybe that's that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But but then at the end of it all, you're thinking about it. You're like, no, this wouldn't really create these big of feelings, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's that understanding that's not really yours. And I have to say, this might be kind of, very because I try to sort of I kind of live in my own world in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um, um, and again, it has to do with manifestation. Like I don't watch TV, right? I I kind of know what's going on, but not much. So I try to think of what do I want my world to look like, right?
Yeah.
Instead of others showing me, well, this is how horrible the world is, and that's
Yeah.
viewing that. And it's like, what do I want the world to look like? And the more we sort of do that, the more we manifest it the way we want it to look like.
Yeah.
But what I found very useful in the past couple of days, not going to say anything new, is really just workout. I went to the gym, you know,
Yeah.
right? And it's just kind of created a change. It's, I think what's needed is some sort of um, energetic change, at least for me.
No, you're absolutely right. You're hitting the nail on the head. You need that change energetically for it to just pop up. I don't know how to explain it, because that's how they showed me. And guess what I was about to go do before? I'm going to go work out, because they're telling me go work out. My guides are
Yep.
telling me go work out. And a lot of people find it unnecessary because, quote unquote, our bodies are not real,
Mhm.
but they still hold, we're layered, and they still hold energy.
Mhm.
We're layered. We have an emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, physical body, and we all need to be united. So, as much as my spiritual body, my emotional body, my mental body are getting a great workout, guess what? Our physical bodies need that workout too. They
Yes.
need to be used. They can't stay idle for too long. And depending on your lineage, depending on your ancestral lineage, you were made to be physical.
Yes.
You were made to be physical. You can't stay stagnant because and stagnant energy kind of it blocks you from receiving those beautiful abundant things.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree with you. Now, another thing that you mentioned that I really love is that you have to have the ability to visualize what you want. And let me tell you, nobody in the world can manifest unless they do shadow work.
Mhm.
Because this is what my visualizing looked like. All of a sudden, I would imagine a beautiful house near water. And all of the rooms were grand in just the way I wanted them. And then all of a sudden, I saw myself creating a security system. And then all of a sudden, I started getting fearful that someone was going to come and take everything away. Stop.
Mhm.
If you're trying to visualize something in your life, manifest something in your life, and yet there's still attack feelings, there's still feelings of I'm not good enough to have it. If something in your visualization starts happening that is completely going in the different direction, where it could be all of a sudden I'm getting a check, and then I I go get a lawyer because I'm afraid somebody might want to take it.
Mhm.
If you start creating, co-creating, you can co-create, or perhaps you can, but whatever you're creating will happen. I had to stop myself from manifesting because I wasn't ready to. Energetically, I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. Emotionally, as much as I wanted to be there, I couldn't, because every time something happened, if it wasn't, and this is me being in my conscious self, I'm visualizing, if it wasn't someone coming in and taking things away from me, it's haunted.
Mhm.
It's flooded. There's a reason why I'm blocking it. There's a reason why there's fear, because all of those things are fear.
Yes.
You can manifest what you want unless you work out your fears. But what if? Then you're not ready.
Mhm.
Then you stop and you do some shadow work, go work out, go punch a punching bag. In a couple of months, try it again. And if you still are coming up with things, then you go in deeper. And then you bring up all of the filth.
Mhm.
You do some
Yes.
energy work, you do some the work that you do. What is it called?
Quantum healing hypnosis.
Yes, you do quantum
Mhm.
healing hypnosis. You do some, you continue to work out every day.
Yeah. Could do
And
Reiki.
then,
Reiki's perfect.
yeah. And then you're like, okay, let's try it again. 3 more months. First of all, don't ever push yourself to the point of you're having a mental breakdown, or to the point you're having an emotional breakdown, or a mental breakdown. because it's not worth your peace.
Mm-hmm.
You are patient with yourself. You take it one step at a time. People that have been through a lot of trauma and a lot of poverty growing up, they're going to have the most shadow work to do before they can manifest great things.
Yes.
And until you do that shadow work, and until you do that energy work, because it kind of goes together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
You can manifest. Another thing that I've noticed with working with people is you have to shower and brush your teeth every day. I know you would hear this and you're like, well, duh. But I'm telling you right now, there are cultures and people that don't shower and brush your teeth every day. That is extremely important. You're telling your vessel, you're telling your energy fields, I'm washing you. I'm taking away stuff from you.
Mm-hmm.
But some people cannot, and they can't force themselves to. Yeah, that's if you have a problem, like if you set a schedule for yourself, today I'm going to shower, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to do this, and we'll work out. If there's some resistance, then there's something that you need to work on.
Oh yeah.
But that's my first clue when I'm mentoring someone and I'm talking to them and I'm saying, okay, for the next week, I want you to shower and brush your teeth every day. And I kid you not, half of the people that I've mentored cannot do it.
Wow. But does it have to go? Yeah, sometimes it's cultural. Sometimes it's lack of self-love. I feel
Yeah,
like.
that's what it is. It's all about lack of self-love. You can't really manifest if you don't love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you won't manifest the right things. You do manifest greatly though. If you don't love yourself, you're going to manifest the same scenario over and over again. You're the one actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one creating it. So we all know we can manifest. That shouldn't be an issue. Don't ever say I can't manifest. Oh, honey, trust. You're manifesting that same guy to come into your life over and
Oh
over
yeah.
and over and over again. That's you. Nobody else is doing that. That is all in your power.
Yep.
So if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to manifest that big, beautiful house, free and clear, and or that car or that check or whatever it is. So that's when you have to look inward and see what the hell's what's going on. Let's talk. We have 4 bodies that we need to go and help. So how do you take care of your emotional body, Sophia?
I don't know. Love?
Yeah. Well, you could definitely love is a big one, right? But never suppress when you want to cry.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Never suppress when you
Definitely.
want to cry. Never suppress when you're angry. Never
Mm-hmm.
suppress when you're everything is telling you go watch a funny movie because you want to laugh. Don't say it. I don't have time right now. We'll do it later. No, but seriously, you need to go watch a funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's always listening to that part of you, of yourself, that it's very helpful. Anyway, is there anything you want to talk about? I just came in kind of fully loaded.
No, it's interesting that many things that you mentioned literally had to do with certain things that I not necessarily me, but like I have clients, and you mentioned kind of patience, right? Faith, right? Right. Faith also can be, right, it's believing in someone or something,
Right.
but also having patience. And it's interesting that it was for one of my clients, that was
The key
the
message.
message.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, so, and that was the message. Um, I did a reading for her, and she wanted channeling, so I did channeling for her, and that's what she was told, because she wanted things faster. Well, she's like, well, this
Yeah.
is not happening. Where's my
Yeah.
ascension? Where's this? And that was the message. Well, you gotta slow down. It's gonna happen when it needs to. And literally the message was, enjoy, enjoy the trees, enjoy life,
Yeah.
right?
I think
Because
that's, yeah.
we're so on that, we're so used to something happening, right? We want it. And people don't understand that the whole idea of ascension, right? It's like we want to be there and it's done.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna, first of all, it's gonna take time. And that's kind of like, I look at it, I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but that's what they kind of showed to me when I was telling her that it's not that it's going to happen and that's it. It's a continuation. It's sort of
Yeah.
growth till the end of your life.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's so funny because I heard something today that really impacted me, and I think I burst out crying, and I was on my knees just in gratitude. I'm listening to the autobiography, Life of the Yogi. I think that's what it's called. Hold on. Um, I've never heard it before, but a friend posted about it. That was a good book. And Paramana, I can't even pronounce his name, but he was a yogi, an ascended or a guru in India. And he said that his guru had different disciples. I'm using words that I understand. Disciples is
Mm-hmm.
like a very Christian word. Um, and his disciple came to the guru and said, I'm ready for the next ascension. And the guru looked at him and he said, hey, you guy, the mailman, come here. And the mailman comes. He's like, guru, like with humbleness, purity of heart. And he says, are you ready for your second ascension? He's like, no, guru, no, guru. I'm not ready for a guru. I still have a lot of things to process, guru. And the moment he said that, he gave him the second ascension to the mailman, not to his disciple.
Mm-hmm.
And his disciple realized, enjoy the fucking journey.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have this, especially here in the Western world, we have this tendency to want more.
Mm-hmm.
We want more, we want more, we want to see, we want power, we want to experience more. Nothing is never enough.
And we
The
want it fast.
yeah, the disciple realized his error.
Mm-hmm.
The mailman came with a pure heart, but that's what gave the guru he is ready for it. He's
Mm-hmm.
scared, but he's ready for it. And he gave the mailman the second ascension. He's not even a part of his group.
Mm-hmm.
And the disciple was completely in shock and in awe about what happened. The moment you say you're ready, you're not ready. The moment you admit to yourself, I'm fucking scared. And this is a very difficult time waiting. Or not even that, but being honest with yourself. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared because of this. I'm acknowledging when fear, whatever it is, acknowledging the stuff that is happening in your life and really taking each bite of life by savoring it and being grateful for absolutely everything you have, not only the people that are willing to love you, but also the tools that you have now that 5 years ago you didn't have. And being consistent, grateful. I'm fucking grateful. I have a mom. A lot of people don't have moms and they miss them. I have a dad. A lot of people don't have dads. I'd have to say that I didn't have a dad. And my dad did pass away. I didn't have a dad. And a lot of people not take it for granted, the amount of wisdom and love a dad can give for a child.
Yes.
Be grateful for everybody in your house. Be grateful for your pets. Be grateful for the love that has grown, and you're allowed others to love you, and you have allowed yourself to love them. Because that alone is a big step. I'm not going to push you away. I love you. I was the type of person that would be like, okay, that's close enough. We can have sex all day, but I don't want you to get too close.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude. That's another big emotion to be able to manifest great things.
When I first started, and I decided to take Reiki training many years ago, and one of the first things that the Reiki practitioner who taught me said, just close your eyes. And he was also trying to kind of sort of teach us how to meditate, I guess. And he just said, just tell yourself what you're grateful for, right? And yes, it starts with, we're grateful for our loved ones, we're grateful. And then we start thinking, what are we grateful for? Well, I have a roof over my head. Well, I have running water, right? And, and then it can come to basic things like, well, I was able to pee this morning, right? Some people can't.
I know. I realized that. I have a father-in-law that cannot, that was very painful for him.
Yeah. So it's the little things. And the moment we start to think about it and actually tell it to ourselves, right? Even when we are at our lowest, it doesn't matter what's happening, right?
Yeah.
If you start slowly just being grateful, but what is grateful? Being grateful, it's kind of, I look at it as a tiny spark of love, right?
Yeah.
And if you just sit down, you're in the worst mood in your entire life, whatever it is, right? You're depressed, you're grieving, right? And you look at your life differently. You just think of what you're grateful for. I'm grateful that I have a cup of tea that I just drank. I'm grateful that I have good neighbors who check up on me, right?
Yeah.
Little things. And then you realize that life is really not that dark.
Yeah.
And there's so much light in it.
Yeah. That's the thing that we need to remember. One last thing before I let you go. This is something that I talked to a person today. I really appreciate him and love him very much. This is advanced stuff, of course, of what I'm about to say, but I think somebody needs to hear it. Earth is considered a planet of illusion. In religion, in the Hindu, I think it's Hindu, they call it Maya. In Christianity, Catholic, they call it the devil or the snake.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is the infrastructure, the software in this dimension automatically creates your biggest fears. So the number one goal is to be able to see the biggest fear in front of you and not get attached to the emotion of what is happening in front of you. Because the moment you turn around and say, that's nothing, just observe what's happening and allow whatever's playing out to play out and let it go. Congratulations. You've mastered this level. Now you're going to the next one.
Yes.
Don't ever get attached to what is happening in front of you emotionally. Observe it and work it through. Why did I create this? What is it trying to tell me? Okay. Once you figure it out, shift. And that's how you master this level. Once you figure it out, you shift. There has to be an action so you can meet the new energy that comes through,
Yes.
a new level. I don't know why I said that, but it's coming up for either one particular person or many. But I think it's very useful information as a reminder.
Well, fear is what stops most people from doing anything, really, anything and everything, right? From following your dreams, right? So
Yeah.
I, for the longest time, I tried to think of how to explain to people, because some people can be like, yeah, I can feel my intuition. I know what I'm supposed to do, right? And some people are like, yeah, I kind of sort of feel it. And but a lot of people are kind of lost, and they want to know what to do next or what should they do um, to be happy, right? Because a lot of people are unhappy in their jobs. And why are they unhappy? It goes back to fear, right? If I don't have this job, how will I eat? How will I provide for myself? How will I provide for my family? But at the same time, they're very much unhappy in what they're doing now. I'm trying to remember, where did I hear this? I can't right now, but the idea is this. The idea is um, do what you're passionate about.
Just only do what you want to do. Don't do anything that you have to. And the moment you say, I have to do this, ask yourself why.
I always look at it, I agree with you. But then I look at it as, well, how do we bring up children, right? Like, as an example, my child thinks that school is useless and he doesn't need it, right?
Mhm.
And I agree with what you're saying, but I'm trying to think of, because the same goes with fear, because fear is very much, I went through it, but I have a child who has constant fears. And it's very difficult for me to explain to him that, and maybe it has to do with age, right? That it's just an illusion. And it's, as you said, don't attach, choose something different, right? But we're also conditioned as children, well, you have to learn how to read. Well, why do I have to? Right? So
Yeah.
when we grow up, we're in that condition, well, I have to do this.
You could be of the world, or you could play in the world, but you don't have to be of the world. Do you understand the difference?
I'm trying to
You could
you keep
you could play in the world, but you don't have to be of the world. Which
okay.
which
Yeah.
means that you learn how to play the rules in the game. Manifesting is a game
Yes.
in this dimension.
Mm-hmm.
You could learn how to be normal in
Mm-hmm.
society, but at the end of the day, you could be centered and completely grounded in knowing who the hell you are. You're just playing a game. All of
So
it is a
mhm.
game.
You know the rules, but you don't have to abide by them. We're not talking about in the bad way, like go kill people. That's not, we're talking about rational, right?
No, like this is an example of it, okay? Don't you know it's rude to interrupt? I could hear it and choose not to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You are giving limitations, rules, beliefs. You have the choice to take them or leave it. Didn't you know it's not nice to ask for help? How about if you're bothering someone?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that one.
Well, who said?
Mm-hmm.
You have a choice. Do I believe this or do I let it go? You could be surrounded by sleeping people and still be grounded and saying, I'm going to play normal right now, but I'm either going to take in or let go of information. I don't have to believe anything. The biggest way to be able to overcome the illusion, especially in the women culture, is the gossip.
Yes.
The moment you come together and you start participating in it,
Mm-hmm.
you're done. You believed something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very yucky,
Yeah, it's
a yucky
poison.
energy. Yes,
It's
yes.
poison
Yep.
for sure. But if we could be surrounded by people, and this is why I don't have a whole lot of friends, because I'm like, nah, I'm okay. But the moment we surround ourselves, first of all, with our tribe, and your tribe doesn't mean your family, your mom, your dad, your siblings. It can mean a cousin. It can mean friends that really resonate with you, where you could be yourself, where you could meditate together, where you don't even have to talk, or where you could just be yourself and release. That's why it's so important, because we are in this dimension, to mentally prepare before you walk out the door. Don't get like you have to be somewhere at 8. You're waking up at 7. Do you should take a quick shower, you brush your teeth, and you run out of the house without being grounded. That is not going to be okay with you. Something will come up, and me telling you something will come up, don't believe it. But I am recommending that you ground yourself, you center yourself before you walk out the door, knowing who you are and what you believe. And then you interact with other humans. You interact with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get home, before you go to sleep, or even when you get home, you ground yourself. You might even want to take another quick shower. And you let go of the game, of the illusion. It is super important to do both.
That one was for me.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Sophia,
Oh, thank you.
for chatting with me. I have to say that I really appreciate you. Of course, you know that. And I really appreciate you talking to me about this stuff. I know I could probably do it alone, just kind of rant on the podcast, but it's very helpful to get input too, because I know that we're all learning together, and we all make mistakes, and they're not really mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Having that guilt of making a mistake is terrible for your energy.
Yeah.
It's just a different perspective that you wanted to experience. That's it.
It's a learning. Everything is a learning. Look at it as a
Yeah.
lesson. Yeah.
So let go, let go, let go, let go of the guilt, and let go
Yes.
of shame, let go of anything that you're holding on to. Thank you for listening, Sophia. Thank you for listening all. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, darling. Bye.